Right, well, chaps, after escaping from the living god, you've emerged into some extremely scrubby desert and spent the night.
Should we not make a camp?
Sounds like a plan to me.
That sounds good.
Camp, and I'll do a little bit of hunting and see if there's anything edible around here.
Make a tracking or survival roll. If you're going to spend 2 nights, the main problem's going to be you may be running out of water.
Tracking dead easy.
You go out and scout around, you manage to bring down some small to medium-sized desert animals, which you can then roast on sticks.
Jumbo
Guinea
kebabs.
Guinea pigs again.
Andy, guinea pigs. Andy, guinea pig. Water.
You can make a survival roll to search for water by
That's just
sort
what I
of
was going to do.
digging.
Well,
I'm sure everybody's great at survival.
Get in.
Did I
Start
make
collecting
that
ticks.
survival
You
roll?
did. You succeeded with 10% survival, as did Andy. As did McLovin.
It's like water's really hard to find in the desert, and I put a gerbil down, it starts running away. Water's that way, guys.
We're plodging through a small lake going, water's so hard to find.
Water's terribly hard there.
This desert's very marshy.
Well, and dry me socks out. Steve, luckily, doesn't drink, so you easily get enough water for the first day, with a little bit left over for the second day. Right, so you spend the extra day. No encounters, so you spend the first day, and then you wring the blankets out because the sodden wet, and the second day have recharged all of your magic points and you recharged all of your crystals. Earl and Dave, you've actually gained a hit point back from your poisoning. You still feel a bit queasy.
Yeah, there was that whole thing, wasn't there?
So what's the plan after you hunt and eat small guinea pig kebabs?
Recharge our crystals, and then let's walk on out here. We just need to find out where we are to know which direction to go.
Just going to say, can we see any landmarks or anything?
Give me a scan roll as you search about. A long way in the distance, you can see what appears to be a mountain range. You watch carefully on the morning to see where Yelm rises, and the mountain range appears to be directly where Yelm goes to sleep. And yes, I'm being deliberately vague. What a twat.
Let's go that way then. We need a direction to go, so we'll use that as a direction until we find something.
Right, okay. You start hiking towards the mountains, yeah?
Yeah. Unless anyone has a better idea.
No, I think heading towards the mountain's probably a good idea. At the very least, we can get a good vantage point to see if we can see anything else.
If we're where we think we are, or where we think we might be, would it not be an idea to keep the mountains at our right-hand side and not understanding exactly out of character how they do this in Runequest, but walking east? Well, shouldn't we come to a river at some point?
That is a very good point. If we go east, we will find a river. And if we're not, we're in the... But the trouble is we could be in the long dry. So east is probably the best way to go. So yeah, how the hell do we find east?
Well, we just keep the mountains on our right shoulders.
Yelm rises in the east and sets in the west.
Head towards where Yelm rises.
Right, okay.
Look at us.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, look at us go.
I will scout ahead of the party. We should stay in single file to hide our numbers.
Sand people know.
Well, I guess you are.
Well, there's plenty of sand.
Right, you can clear 15 clicks a day. You walk under the burning sun. You see nothing other than the occasional small desert creature.
I'll shoot them with me bow on the move.
Go on then, have a bow roll. Does anybody want to make some survival rolls for finding water as you're trekking across? You're doing that thing, the sun's beating down, you've got your clothes torn, your arms off, and you've got them wrapped around your head, and you're holding your canteens up the last water.
0-1. You mean that oasis over there?
Yeah. So Earl manages to find a rock that he's pretty sure there's water underneath there, so as he digs down, there's quite enough water for everybody to get a good day's worth of drink. He's
Silver
also shot a
canteens.
few small desert creatures.
Right,
mean,
if there's
I know
enough water, I'm going to fill me waterproof sack with water,
Righty-ho.
like a giant canteen. So that should keep we'll going that extra little bit.
Marsh is drier than I remember.
Yeah, this desert's a lot wetter than I thought it would be. You camp up and spend the night after you trek the entire day towards where you think Yelm was.
We'll do double watches because we're in the wilderness and we don't know where we are.
Yeah, give us a survival roll, because obviously as Yelm gets behind you, it's possible that you can lose a little bit of direction.
3 in a row would have been too much to ask for on 10%.
It certainly would have.
Hang on.
Oh, there you go.
Everybody else is like, we've turned too far south, we need to turn north, and Rualan's like, nope, it's that way. He's following his beak.
Telling you.
I'm telling you, it's that way.
Well, I was brought up to trust a duck.
Aren't we gonna get rolls like this ever again? Oh, and this combat's gonna suck.
You camp the night, and nothing.
I'll put some trips out as well.
Right, okay, I made a devise roll. Steve is watching everything you're doing intently, and he's like, why are you digging holes in the ground? Why do you not just command the ground to open before you?
Yeah, it doesn't work like that, man.
Right, Cruden successfully lays some snares and wires. You wake up the next morning after having no encounters, and give me survival rolls to push on east. You're okay in the morning because you see Yelm rising.
06. Right, Rich, I'm going to do the stick trick.
Jesus Christ.
This is insane. King Bourbon.
Yeah.
It's like King Kong with more bourbony. Right, I'm going to get a stick and put it in a straight line pointing towards where Yelm is. And every 50 yards, I'm going to line up the stick that I've got in my hand with the stick that we left behind. I'm going to constantly do that. The stick isn't sticking up in the air. It's lying down flat on top of a rock. So roughly, even if we go off course, we're roughly in the right direction that way.
Yeah. Right, so the third day, you head towards Yelm's rising. It seems to be, it's a little bit less hot. It's a little bit less humid around here. And it's been a pretty flat plain in all directions that you've went. However, off to the left, you see what looks like a large group of rocks in some kind of rock outcropping. 5 or 10 minutes walk from you.
Should we go take a look just to check?
Worth checking out.
Let's head over carefully. I'll check around for track. Spot on.
82%. Right, Blondel sort of stares at the ground. You do indeed find many tracks around. They look like small pinholes, as if somebody's been poking a pole into the ground in many, many places all around you.
Can I make an animal law roll?
You certainly can. Success.
What is
You're
wrong with
he's
this
on fire
guy?
today. It seems as if these are large scorpion tracks that are all around the rock outcropping.
Large scorpions, you say? I'll be like, lads, these are large scorpion tracks.
Shouldn't we possibly let them get on with their lives and we'll get on with ours?
Alone, yeah.
So you turn aside and continue on. The ground is definitely becoming less deserty and more normal scrub. Can you please make me some listen rolls?
I failed a roll.
Oh, thank
Tick
God.
believe.
You hear this strange click, clack, rhythmic noise. It's coming from the direction you came, but as you look, can't see anything yet. You just hear this clicky, clacky noise.
Oh, the burrowed. Moving underground. I think we might have some scorpions incoming.
Lovely.
I'll tell Crawdan this, what I can hear, where the sound's coming from.
And I'll put an arrow in my bow.
You stand ready.
Pull me sling out.
Horrifically, coming over the top of the rolling plain, appears the head and shoulders of a man carrying a club. A strange clicking noise accompanies him as he walks, and then he crests over, you see another 2 heads come either side of him. But as he comes over first, you see some kind of centaur-like creature, but instead of the body of the horse, he's got the body of a giant scorpion. A great scorpion tail, dripping venom, flicks through the air. It seems as if they've been tracking you for a while, and he shouts something in a language that I don't believe anybody speaks. They start running towards you.
Shoot you in the face time.
I'll cast Protection 4 on myself.
Yeah, I think I'll join them. I'll cast Protection 4 myself. These could be scorpion men.
They're out hunting for things to eat, crunchy, delicious things, and they came across a bunch of tracks. They start pulling out slings, and you notice they've got medium shields. You have an arrow knocked. Dave, you're casting Protection 4, yes? So can you roll your casting chance? You can fire.
Yeah, I'll fire. I was going to cast Froze.
For those that remember the caravan that camped in the cave, that strange clicky-clacky noise they made when they're walking was the same noise that you heard and gave you nightmares that night when the villagers locked the wooden gate.
I missed.
You missed. Right, you cast Protection 4 on yourself. Croden shoots wildly with an arrow, and you'd pulled out a sling.
I did.
Yeah, you can take a shot with your sling before we then go to...
Right in the heat.
There we go. Pick your head up.
Right, you strike it in the head. It ricochets off, apparently doing little damage. So it just raised a little cut. It bleeds awful black blood.
Yeah, I'll have a go on my sling.
Can I cast Disruption on the hurt one?
Right, McLovin, let's fly with a rock. It sadly misses it. Okay, chaps, roll them. Rualan, you're up first.
Right, I'm going to pull the fireblade out and see if I can get it lit.
Indeed, cast Fireblade as the short sword bursts into flames.
And I shall pull my shield out and stand ready.
Okay, McLovin.
Put my sling away, pull out my compass and shield, and do the old by the power of Grayskull sight and fire it up.
More Fireblade. Kane, you're next.
I will cast Protection 2 on myself and fail. Can I move as well?
Yes. Half.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll move 4 spaces towards him.
Okay, Blundell.
I shall move forward, draw my sword and shield, readying it out.
Right, you run bravely forward. Right, Scorpion Man 3.
A very good movie in comparison to Spider-Man 3.
He clacks forward. He sees Kane. He fires his sling at you.
Thank God.
Misses. But the Bob.
Bobbin's actually going to move over and cast Speed Dart on Crodan's next shot.
Oh, nice. Succeed. Cast Speed Dart on you, Croden. The Scorpion men chitter and run towards you.
So will that get me shut off on that?
Yes. You'll get your second shots out after these Scorpion men, and that's the back half of the round. Right.
Lovely job.
Number 2 fires at Blundell and misses. And number 1 fires at McLovin. He succeeds for 1 point of damage. Take that, McLovin.
Oh, can you dodge missile things?
You can.
I'll do a Matrix style bullet time dodge.
You succeed. Right, you step out of the way. The Scorpion men, instead of taking their second shot, start pulling out spears. And that the wave their dangerous looking tails around in the air. Okay.
Lovely.
Second shot, Croden, you can have your speed dart shot. As the Bob lays his hand on your boy, he's like, I got you.
I got you, boo.
Which one are you aiming at?
1.
1 takes 6 in the left arm. Right, that's the one he's holding his shield on, so it skitters off the shield. Unlucky. Anybody else? Okay, next round, Rualan.
I'm just going to turn round, bend over, show them the arse, and slap it with me shield hand.
Nice. That's intimidate check there.
Right. Okie dokie. There you go.
You succeed in intimidating the Scottyman. They will charge you. Like, look at that duck's arsehole. They're not speaking a language you can understand, but you can generally get by the way they're indicating at your arsehole that you've definitely caused some kind of a ruckus.
Jolly good.
All expected.
McLovin.
I will cast Disruption on Scorpion Man 1.
Okay, make your spirit magic roll. Right, you successfully cast Disruption. Attempt to overcome his power. 69. What's your power?
My power is 16.
Yes, that does overcome his power. So you do a D3 damage. 3 damage, which ignores armor. And he howls in pain and chitters something at you. So you disrupt him in one of the legs. Next up, Kane.
I mean, fuck it. I'll move next to the Scorpion and attempt to slash at him.
Very well. Left center leg. He attempts to parry with his shield and fails. You slice through the left center leg, chopping it off.
Nice.
It seems to come off quite easily. It leaks black fluid, but it doesn't seem to be causing them like much inconvenience.
Not happy with that.
Blondel.
I'll move and cast Disruption on 1.
Focusing your willpower, you attempt to disrupt him successfully. Roll your D100 to overcome his power.
I rolled a 3.
That succeeds. You overcome his power, so roll your D3 damage. You do 1 damage on the left arm. He's having the death of 1,000 disruptions, this Scorpion Man. Right, finally, Scorpion Man 3. Stabs with the spear cane.
Ugh, no. Probably didn't.
He fails. He aims it at your head, but sadly misses. One of these days, I'm going to get an impale on somebody with something. I'm not just going to completely miss. And
hopefully it's not me. I can't be resurrected, so.
It's the Dwarven.
He will. Have you already been this turn?
No, not yet.
Were you? Okay. I'll cast Speed Dart again.
So Scorpion Man 1 is enraged at Andy by showing him the duck's arse, as it were. 4, and he's moving towards you. Scorpion Man 2 going to move down and move across. He goes for Kane, so he stabs out with his spear cane.
I mean, to be fair, I kind of prefer to hit me than anyone else, if at all possible, so I'll take...
Or miss you, because that's all they seem to do.
This is what we're hoping for.
Like that.
In the head again. Oh, God, it's getting
right,
worse, though.
It's end of round. So your dad goes first, and then the 2 Scorpion men can attack with their stings. 5 in the right arm. And which one were you shooting at?
1.
Right arm definitely does hurt. You notice they seem to be extremely tough, and you're only just sort of pecking away at them. Croden sticks an arrow in one, and those deadly tails come overhead and stab towards your Kane. Missing. The second one comes over, impaled in the chest.
Yeah, we're gonna attempt to parry that one. Yeah, just gonna special parry that.
It stabs into the shield, and it actually punches through, and it pumps out vile venom that drips onto your arm, but it wouldn't penetrate your armor, I believe.
No, it wouldn't. But yeah. I should have just parried with my sword, to be honest.
Okay, that is end of round 3. Crodan, you're up first.
I'll put a shot into him and then string for another one.
Loose, he cries. 7 in the tail, it's good. It's very good. He's looking extremely badly hurt right now. Ooh, his tail is just still working, so it twitches and it's leaking black blood everywhere, but it still worked. Rualin.
I'm just going to wait for him to arrive and then gut him like a fish.
Bring it. Can you eat a Scorpion, man? McLovin.
Probably.
If Rualin's waiting, I will wait with him beside him.
You stand ready. Kane.
I'll attempt to kill him, you know.
Thorax hit for 11. That's a big hit unless he can get his shield in the way. He succeeds! And you don't penetrate his medium shield. Haha. It's all coming up GM now. Blondel.
I shall take a swing at number 3 with my broadsword.
Okay. Succeeds. He's going to attempt to dodge. Critical. Even though he's minus 20% there, he just nimbly sidesteps out of the way of the blow. Right, Scorpion Man 3 stabs with the spear. For the head. No, left leg, missing. And Bourbon.
He'll try and speed that again. Success.
Scorpion Man 1 in a frenzy. 2, 3, 4. Can't quite get there, unfortunately, Andy, but he's trying his best.
Shame.
And Scorpion Man 2 stabs with the spear. Success in the right arm. I don't even think I penetrate your armor, does it?
No.
Oh, he rolled minimum, that's why. Right, it scrapes off your armor. And
I know those rules.
And then it's end of round, so in come the stingers. Scorpion Man 3, impale in the left arm. Kane?
Your shield.
Yeah, I'm thinking. It is my shield covering it.
It is,
but
yes.
Yeah, that's fine, actually.
You don't take any damage, but the shield loses another point. Curses Scorpion Man 2, because Blondel hasn't attacked them, they're both still attacking Kane. 5 on the chest.
I mean, I'll just ignore it. I've got,
You've
It's
got
the same.
a disc plate cuirass or something. The giant stinger scrapes along your chest and chips venom onto the floor. Croydon, you can do your speeded dart.
Impaling the...
On the thorax, so yeah, that's... Which one were you shooting at?
1.
That's a kill. Straight through the thorax,
Nice.
collapses to the ground and...
I'll turn around and wink at Bourbon as I pull another arrow.
He'll snap his fingers at you. Finger guns.
Finger guns, yeah. Pew, 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 pew. Yeah, he collapses to the ground. The legs and the tail thrash about for a few seconds, and then it just lies still and dead. Back to Croydon, because you were on some crazy-ass 27.
I'll cast fire arrow.
You cast fire arrow, nice, and then shoot at the end of the round. Your arrow bursts into flame to Roland.
I'll have to go and get one of these.
Trudge.
Yeah.
His little duck feet.
Flip, flap, as he...
Slap.
As he stomps across the battlefield in a bad mood. MC Lovin?
I will do the same. One, start moving around the flank.
Kane, yeah.
We'll just slice at number 3 there, I think.
Excellent. Number 3 attempts to parry.
Just keep chopping legs off.
Fumbles.
Ooh. You hate to see it.
Fall and lose parry this round.
Takes 1d3 rounds to get up.
Oh.
Ugh. It's like a pile of scorpion.
Tangles himself up in his tail and his legs, so he's going to be dead, isn't he?
I mean, I hate to break it to you, but probably.
So it's going to take him a full round. Blondel.
I'll take a swing at number 3.
He can't parry. You succeed in the chest. So basically, you drive your sword cleanly through his chest, and that does enough to kill him outright. He goes, oh, no, I've got a big red X. Oh, it's all going horribly wrong. Bourbon.
He is going to scoot up 2 and then sling at Scorpion Man 2.
Head, go on.
It bangs off the chitin and it does not do any damage. Scorpion Man 2, saying that Blondel has attacked his friend, stabs at Kane with a spear, and then goes to sting Blondel. He succeeds in stabbing you in the right arm, Kane.
I'll go to parry him with my sword, I guess.
Yeah, you succeed. You knock his weapon easily aside, and he doesn't even do any damage to it because it's a hafted weapon. Earl, you get a shot first, then he gets to sting at Blondel. So your flaming arrow... Oh, Jesus.
You're going to stab him with...
Yeah, what are you going to stab him with? He's just alive. His arm goes limp and he drops his spear, but he's just enough alive to sting Blondel in the abdomen. He stabs in the grollies with this great big stinger, Blondel.
I'll parry with my shield or try.
He succeeds. So you madly deflect the stinger aimed at your groin. The Scottish man looks slightly upset. Not as upset as you would have been if you got stabbed in the grollies by that giant thing, though. End of round. And Croydon's back up again. A minor wound to the Scorpion man. It's barely standing now. Rewallen. Hooray! You get to run over and just chop something up. Oh, crap. Right. He tries to dodge out of the way. He fails. You chop his leg off, which is not normally bad enough, but he's so badly wounded from minor...
Death of 1,000.
For minor deaths, he falls over dead.
Turn round. bend over and slap my arse at him.
Sadly, not alive enough to respond. The 3 scorpion men lie dead before you. All they have is their weapons, and they've got like leather bandoliers on, which apparently they can attach stuff to.
Let's not mess around with the Chaos Beasties gear, eh?
Yeah.
We could track them back to them, but we probably need to rest before we do that, and there could be an awful lot of these boys in a nest if they send 3 big lads out to hunt for a group of people for lunch.
Yeah.
When we skedaddle, we might want to try and hide our tracks.
I'll allow you to roll a
Lift
track
one of
and
the
roll to
bodies up.
obscure your tracks if you like.
Mhm.
I can do that. I'm just going to stick a grenade at one of them as well. Then I realised, A, I don't have any grenades. B, I don't have any grenades. I know that's saying I don't have any grenades twice, but it was quite an important thing not to have.
Steve walks over, looks curiously at the dead bodies, and says, "Why did these guardians attack? They have nothing to gain. There was nobody there to order them."
Going to eat us, dude.
How barbaric!
Oh, you've seen no yet.
Croydon and Wallen are trying desperately to brush away the tracks.
Badly.
Yeah, so you manage to obscure the tracks as best you can. So you push on, and finally, you come out of what appears to have been a part of the long dry, and you emerge into a fertile section of land. In front of you, you see an immense, wide river.
Oh, I know that river.
You see this lush lands up and down the side of the river, and yeah, you rush forward, you take a sweet, sweet drink out of the
I
river.
have a bath.
I will make appropriate sacrifices to the Zolafel because her reputation as a god is somewhat terrifying. I give thanks for her waters. Use my harmony rune.
Yeah.
I'll make a donation at the first temple and we'll get to.
You perform the rites, you fall to your knees and you start praying, and dives headfirst into the water and floating on his back, squirting water up in the air.
I will make a track roll up and down the bank. So if I track, we might find some indigs like the local Newlands or anything that could point us in the right direction.
You succeed at tracking. There's a lot of activity up and down the side of the Zolafel, crocodiles, all sorts of beasties. You do know the Zolafel generally heads north-south. From the side you've come, left will lead north up to the Sundome, and right will lead south down to Corflue. Obviously, both some considerable distance away, judging from where you are.
I think we should head north because heading south means we have to go to Corflue.
So, what do you plan to do? Do you just plan to wait and see if something comes past? Do you head north? Do you head south up and down the river? Or head back into the long dry, which is fine.
Is it though?
North, I think. Didn't you say?
North is the way I would.
Right, so you head north, maybe 25 minutes of walking up this lush terrain. It's quite easy to find stuff to eat, berries, frogs, that kind of thing. On the other side of the river, you see a large pack of Morakanth that you now recognise, and a whole bunch of herdmen. It seems like more than a standard-sized travelling group. Can you please roll your reputations? Because if I remember correctly, somebody sided with the Agamori over the Morakanth.
That was us.
Right, a success. A success is bad, because that means you're recognised.
Yeah, I mean, we just avoid that, I think.
Yeah.
ETFO.
Well, they've never seen me before.
Right, okay. Passing swiftly on. What I'll do is I'll roll a scan roll. 56. No, from that distance. If you'd called out, obviously they would have recognised Bracy, but from that distance they have not managed to spot you. Give us a luck roll, whoever's got the lowest power. Otherwise known in Cthulhu as a party luck roll. So a luck roll's a power times 5.
15 and 14.
I've got 13.
Anyone lower than 13?
Nope.
13 it
Nope.
is.
13 it is. Andy, give us a power times 5 roll. A special success. Right, coming from the north, you see a large boat made of wood, and it seems to be crewed by a bunch of Newtlands. They're sailing down the middle of the river.
I'd like to buy a road, please.
You'd like to buy a road?
Well, we did rescue a load of Newlands, so try to attract their attention and look friendly. I'll shout straight talk. Whereabouts on the river, apart from the bank?
Make a look roll to attract their attention, because obviously, they don't just stop for anyone. Right, so you've attracted their attention. They haven't just sailed on, going, "Oh, these lot could be bandits. Look at them, well armed, and that they might want to nick me planks."
Would we get it?
They don't pull over to the bank, but they slow down and they use the crude anchor that they've got built. They drop anchor and stop some distance away. Crew by Newtland Bachelors 1 steps forward and he says, "What want?"
Where Rouse fought?
Don't know. We come down from Sundome up north.
What am I talking like one of them for? How many days you been talking, lads?
He says, we are 2 days out of Sundome. You know that these slow boats, because they're not like built for speed or anything, they probably go about walking pace.
All right. Thank you very much, lads. Good luck.
He waves and they pull the anchor up and start pulling the boat down the Zola Fell.
Well, we'll just carry on up the river for a couple of days and we're home free. What could possibly go... Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah,
So you could follow this north walking, or you could call off at the Sundome Temple.
Anyone want to go and talk with a load of Yelmalians? Or we'll just follow the river, lads, eh?
Yeah, I think we just follow the river.
There is plenty of food and water on the banks of the Zola Fell, and you can fish, you can forage.
No, Andy, no T-Rex burgers.
As if I would.
You travel the rest of the day. You don't have any more encounters because the dice gods are kind to you. You find somewhere suitable to camp. As it starts to grow in dark, you see a couple of Newtland reed rafts. Now, you've seen these at the Duke's place before. They're generally crewed by 1 or 2 Newtlands, and they're kind of Egyptian looking. They occasionally take on passengers for payment.
Right, we'll get there tomorrow. May as well just walk.
It's going to be a day and a half walking.
And how long would it be on the boat?
You probably get there in a day.
Should we go boating then, chaps?
Yeah, why not?
Or whistle at the Newtlands?
Right, you call for the Newtlands to paddle over the reed boat, and he says, yes, you come trade?
Any chance you lads can give us a ride up to Rouse Fort?
Yes, we can do that. 5 coins per man.
Sounds fair.
This fort, does it have a priest?
We've got a shaman. There's got to be someone at the fort who'll know a bit more about poisons than we do.
True.
First of all, they'll camp overnight with you. And then in the morning, they'll load you onto the little reed boats, which nobody's very comfortable with except for Andy. And they start to paddle you up to the fort.
It's 5 lanes each, right?
It is, yes.
I've paid for it all.
I was going to say I was going to take it out of the party fund. But...
Day later, you are finally punted back into Fort Rouse. Hurrah!
Hooray! Home.
Dirty, hungry, most of you are sick of eating frogs, except Anne doesn't seem to really care about it. So you disembark, the Newtlands bid you farewell, and start to paddle back down the river.
Quite happily standing on the riverbank, chewing a frog.
Of course you do.
Head into the fort.
You wearily trudge into the fort. It seems like it's been forever. 2 gate guards welcome you warmly. Where the hell have you been?
We got swallowed by a god. It was a pain in the ass.
He says, your nan sent message 2 weeks ago that you'd gone off looking for Bob and here, and she'd heard nothing since. And the caravans only run to Paverson back, every couple of weeks. You've been missing at least 4 weeks, although by your reckoning, you've only been missing about 6 days. They look strangely at this small, naked statue of a...
He was part of the god. It's all right. He's one of us now, lads.
He steps forward and says, Guardians, I command the gate to move aside. They look down at him.
He's a bit odd. Just
he looks up at them. He says, okay, so if you can't open it with your minds, how do we get it open?
There's these things, Ray. They're called handles.
And use these things called arms.
Oh, he says, thank you, Guardians. He seems to be referring to any being, creature, or god, or whatever as a guardian. He seems to think that you should be able to order them all about. The guards open the main gate, Construction has proceeded quite well in the time that you're missing. A lot of your friends and associates that you've come to know in Fort Rouse come out to greet you, slap you on the back, that kind of thing. Look strangely at Steve, who looks interestedly at everything. He says, "You have small shelters built out of hides and reeds."
Yes, that's called a house.
"Oh," he says, "I'm going to enjoy it out, I think."
I've got a very bad feeling about this. Better go and tell the boss man what's gone on.
So you head into the main area of the keep.
Suppose I'll have to sign on as a mercenary then?
Ah, that's true. You didn't get to do none of that, did you? So you're not greeted by Dane. You met him by one of his lieutenants, who greets you warmly. He grasps you firmly by the hand. He says, "I'll call Duke Rouse and see when he's available."
Where's your boss, Lee?
He says, "The Duke has sent him out on a very important mission and he hasn't been seen in some time."
Oh, Christ, with no doubt I know where we're going next then, lads, eh?
Oh, aye.
Yeah.
Put your rescue mission pants on, boys.
So he says, "It's good to see you again. We all thought you'd gone missing. Apparently,
No, we got by a god.
by a god."
Yeah,
Wow.
it was
We'll have to share
annoying.
some beer in the beer tent and you'll have to give us the story of all of it. So it's cut short as the Duke's secretary comes out and he says the Duke will see you now, which is unusual. You're not used to seeing him so quickly, and you're invited into the main room. He's got a couple of his bodyguards with him.
All right, boss. All right, we've been away for a few days, but not kind of our fault. We got eaten by a god, and then time went all funny while we were killing our way out of it. Oh, he's our friend. He was part of the god, but he's not anymore. He's one of ours. He used to be a door. He's called Steve.
Steve steps forward and says, "Ah, greetings, Guardian. You must be ahead of one of the levels." The Duke sort of looks at him quizzically. He looks up at you and says, "Is that not right?"
"It's not far off. Basically, he is like the boss in charge of all the doors around here."
Okay. Does he always walk around with no pants on?
What? Oh, he's talking about the
Steve, yeah,
Wait a
he's a little naked cherub
Oh, no,
dude, remember?
I thought Steve was referring to Duke Rouse Abroad, and I'm like, Duke Rouse Abroad doesn't have pants
That's
on.
nice.
What did I...
Rouse has no pants on.
You see, we kind of had to kill the god. Oh, well, really hurt the god. And while we were doing that, he kind of got stuck in the form he was in.
Right,
For
well,
some reason, he chose this.
I'm
better
going to
than,
give you a
you know-
bonus of 20% because you're not actually lying. So
Oh,
you succeed at your rate roll. You're not trying to deceive him. You're just trying to spin him a tail. He says, "Hold on a second. Let me just sit down." And like presses his hand to his temples and goes, "Can you have some wine brought in, please? I think we're going to be here a while. Would you, gentlemen, like a drink?"
Ah, very much so.
Yes.
So, there we were. And I'll just do...
And you
The
give him the
whole-
whole... Yeah, the servants bring in some wine. He pours himself a large one and then propped a
Fine.
jug
Do
around.
you notice more people in the room all just looking very amused?
And as for Paddy and Davy, they're always looking for new mercenaries, so you're quite welcome to sign on.
There are like we'll start for them.
Yes, of course, of course. You're my trusted soldiery.
Where's Dane gone then? I heard he's gone missing.
He says, "Dane's been gone a week. Obviously, you people were away, well-earned rest.
I like that. Wasn't exactly restful.
If you remember, some 6 weeks ago, the Newtlands had attacked the boats that you were travelling on. I've recently found out that they concentrated on the Five Eyes Temple. I sent Dane with a party of Newtlands downriver to scout the situation, but only the Newtlands returned. They brought back this map, which he unrolls and says, apparently Dane had drawn this map.
We'll get our shit together and be away tomorrow then, eh?
Aye.
It would be so good for you to head down the river and find Dane.
Yeah, no worries. We'll go get the lad.
He stands up a little tenderly, as you've all been partaking in the good wine. Yeah, shakes you all by the hand and he says, "It's so good to have you back. I'll send for your grandmama in the next caravan to bring her down. Do you know by chance which hotel she's staying in?"
Oh, she stayed in your house.
"In my house."
I think she quite gets on with the watchman that is there. That's
you can
fantastic.
tell he's a little bit tiddly. His wife comes in, beams at you, and
I'll
comes in,
bow and kiss her hands like gentleman that I am.
and she says, I see that you've been keeping my husband up. He looks somewhat tired. I think I shall help him to his cot.
I'm sure, my lady.
And then she leads the Duke up and gives you a wink as she hustles him out the door.
I think we'll do a quick re-equip, fill the things, nip to see the priest to see if he can do anything without this poisoning. Make sure we've got plenty of rations in it. Just go in the army and take everything we could possibly need and just put it on the tab. We've got a receipt book.
Yeah, I need a large shield whilst we're here, so I'm gonna.
Yeah, you can get normal weapons and armor from the armory without a problem.
Have they got a compound bow then?
Compound bows are not normally used because they're normally made by the nomads with horn. So, give us a look roll to see if they've got a compound bow in. No, they haven't got any. The armourer in charge, he says, I'll do my best to get you one though.
Right, I'll literally be like, I'll be needing 60 arrows, we'll need rations, blankets, and just rattle a list of every possibility of thing that we'll need.
I'll just take a self bow until a new composite bow comes in.
Yeah, not a problem. So you all gain a D6 reputation. You can have some cheeky increase rolls. After a brief spell of contemplating your navel, an equipping montage, you just see you go chung chung as you're feeding arrows into several quivers. And
what do you need? I need arrows. Lots of arrows.
Lots of arrows. Right, so you awake after a good night's sleep and some hearty stew.
It's Five Eyes Temple. What's it all about then?
You'll have to be ferried down the river by 4 small boats paddled by the Newtlands. The rest of the Newtlands will swim alongside. So in the morning, the Duke is standing outside with his warriors and he's called together all of the warriors. You turn up there as he calls out and gives the briefing. Warriors, I have a mission for you, which means everything to my rule here. These Newtlands will not recognise the authority of the governor in these lands. They have slaughtered my Newtland mercenaries, and the rest of the Newtlands have forsworn their oath to me and left. You will enforce my authority in this river valley. You may use whatever force is necessary, but you must roust these little lizards out of their temple and teach them the folly of opposing the Empire and the danger of opposing me. There are no boats available. The Newtlands took them all. You will have to proceed overland to the caves.
All right, anybody.
The Five Eyes Temple is so called because of 5 cave entrances into a single cliff face. So you'll be hiking down from the north. So you hike down the river and approach this temple. It's enormous and it has 5 cave entrances. You're on the bank and you should be able to see all the way down the bank.
Yeah.
There's 5 entrances.
That's going to be interesting.
Duke has kept a totem force back at the fort and everybody else has moved down, camped outside. As you approach the caves, you see a group of dragon newts. You recognise dragon newts at this point?
Oh, no.
You see the scouts first, and then there's a couple of warriors, and then at the back there's a tailed priest, which is the one that's covered in the wattles in the front. He strides forward. Can you roll your reputations, please?
Me again.
Oh dear, guilt by association.
Guilt by association. So you come upon this party. A bunch of demibirds. One thing you do notice is that there's more demibirds than there is dragon newts to ride upon them. The priest steps forward. He recognises you, Tracy. Right, it's a pretty neutral roll, so he doesn't immediately attack you or flee from you. He steps forward and says, "Where goes such a heavily armed party of humans?"
We go seeking our friend who is lost inside these caves.
These caves, we search for one of our number.
Oh, what? Aren't we dragons again?
Yeah, you've got that weird thing that affected your soul.
Right, I've got an idea. Are you ready? I'll turn round and say, well, if we work together, wouldn't that be right action?
I must consider the action, give me a fast talk roll.
Ugh. You
Wait,
good at
wait.
that?
Die.
And
Let me roll that.
humanoid. Yeah, you should step forward and speak.
I'll step back and go, my friend here can explain it better.
Right, action. You know something of our ways.
Explain what happened. We were told that we were dragonkin by one of your kind.
I have heard of this one. And he points to Prissy. So, very well, speaker.
Who knows all about Runequest? It is as my colleague says. Do this together. Easy.
He says, we do not intend to travel into the caves. We are looking for a missing warrior. He is heading down the river. We've observed these caves and we have not seen any sign of him. But there are many frog eaters and many horse spirits in there. Just think you should know.
Did he say horse spirit?
Yeah. I lean over there and go, what's a horse spirit?
Did he say horse or whore?
He said, horse spirits.
Horse. Like,
Horse
giddy up.
spirits. Well, he uses the word horse, but you're not sure if he's using it correctly or whether he's referring to riding beasts in general. The other one spoke a lot more formally. This one seems to have had more experience dealing with normal people, so he speaks a lot less formally than the others. You're not sure whether he's using the correct words.
If we see your warrior, what is his name? What is he called?
His name is Runequest.
Okay. If we see Huajik, we will bring him to your attention.
We thank you. Walk in peace, Spirit of the Dragon.
And you.
So after they ride off south, you're left on the side of the riverbank with 5 caves.
We could check for tracks.
I think Cave 4's the best cave.
I will go with Cave 4. Let's head down to Cave 4.
It's just because I feel like the number 4, really, but...
There's a whole bunch of tracks around here. There are many Newtland tracks. There are some much large frog-like tracks, but 3 or 4 handspans in width, all up and down the bank here.
How did we arrive at the number 4?
It's a number between 3 and 5. That was his logic.
Hey, works for me.
Inside it is dark, and it's just a natural formed cave leading in from the river.
I will light a torch and mosey on in, unless someone wants to scout ahead. I'm fine with you. Okay.
When it starts to get dim enough that I'll need light, I'll light a torch as well.
All right, Earl, make a listen roll. The cave goes in a short distance ahead. You're at least quiet, so that's something. Looks like a head cavern opens into a larger cave. The sputtering torch lights up inside of the cavern. You look and you see in the top corner a pile of dead Newtlands. Standing chewing upon the leg of the Newtons is something that you recognise as a manticore, as you have just seen one recently.
Cave 4's the best cave.
Man, or scenery.
The cave also has an exit on the opposite side. The manticore, he's looking thoughtfully at the other tunnel.
Can I just start noping out? Just, walking backwards in my own steps.
The other tunnel seems to be too small for him to get through. He apparently hears you and turns around, sniffs the air. Human. I smell you, human.
What's the worst that can happen? All right.
So you're there.
Yeah. Are you afraid to kill us? Could we maybe have a chat? Because you seem to be in a predicament at the minute.
What is this chat that you wish?
Well, the only way out through here, the way you came in, and the food seems to be coming out of the small hole, yeah?
Right, he slaps his paw on the body of the Newton's cat-like, and he's like, "These are my kills. You do not get any of my kills."
Well, can you get in to get more kills? Because we need to
I
go in there.
chased the cowardly little lizard men in through the hole, and I can't get to them. They will have to come out eventually because they will starve to death.
How about we drive them out and you eat them? Because we've been sent. I will orate. We're going to die. We are going to die.
He says, "This does not seem like a good deal to me. I'm quite hungry, and you look fairly delicious."
Before you eat,
He just sort of starts. He stretches, and as he does, he just seems to move just slightly towards you.
You're a strong, healthy manticore, yeah, and you're at the prime of your life. Why take the risk? It's not worth the risk. I mean, I mightn't be alone. There might be a load of warriors behind me who are ready doing a battle magic as we speak.
Are you guys making listen rolls from the outside of the cave peering in here? I mean, you can only say it's only a few meters inside, so you'll probably be able to hear them.
But a large manticore like you...
You hear this conversation, and old voices going up an octave as if it sounds like it's not going well.
Alright, even though I'm kind of close to him, I failed to listen, so I'm not going to do that much.
Yeah, so you...
I was too busy looking at a wall.
I'll step up behind Earl.
Look, lad, we're happy for you to eat all of these as you like. We don't want to eat any of them, right? Although some people eat the tails, I'm told, which is weird. Because if you're going to eat the tail, you would eat all of it, wouldn't you? Anyway,
yes, the tails, they are delicious.
Well, exactly. So, how about we go in there, right? Kill a couple of the ones we're after. The rest will all come running out, and then you just eat them. And then we'll leave and leave you with it. Nothing to do with us. Why should we fight?
You really need to let the people who can talk better than you do the talking.
Go on. I will shut up and let Bracy take over. Hang on. My friend here, and I'll put my arm around Bracy, he'll explain it to you a bit better, because he's much better explaining things than me.
There is truth in my friend's logic.
Smell more humans and something else. There's others here, not human. One of them smells wonderful.
God, no.
Well, we've got a dog, and a baboon, and a god, and a really angry duck. There's quite a few people here. Do you want to meet them? I can get them to come in while you're talking to my friend.
He says, looking at the fact that there's now 3 of you there, and you can probably smell more. This deal interests me. I desire more of the crunchy lizard people.
Free food. Everyone's favourite.
Right, well, go on, Brissy, make a fast talk roll. Your insane amount of fast talk.
What? You've got 105%. You should use that more. That's insane.
Yeah. Yes, he's got crazy amount of fast talk, but you never let him talk. Well, I have worked in the past for people for pay, so this deal is acceptable to me.
Think of this deal as an all you can.
And he moves to one side.
Oh, I'll wiggle on in, bobbing.
You peer into the passage, it gets narrower. It's too small for the manticore to shoulder its way through. You hear it crunching and cracking on the bones as you peer into the following tunnel. And that's, I guess, where we'll leave it.